Caden.
I'm Eli.
And we are Yahoo in the Torah, and this is Youth for Yah.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you hear us screaming, it is raining. It is a little loud outside. It is, we're trying to talk over the rain. It is loud here. We don't exactly have, exactly what normal ceilings are. So if you hear us yelling, we apologize. But we are trying to get the message as clear as possible to you guys. We hope you are all doing well. We thank you guys so much for taking just a little bit of your time out of your day to come learn with us, to come read with us, to come basically do what a family does and what a family is supposed to do, a biblical family is supposed to do, is read the Torah, read the Word, understand it as a family, and grow in the Word and grow in the walk with Yahuwah and our Messiah, Yahushua HaMashiach. So, if you guys are new here, we have a bunch of different channels, a bunch of secondary channels. We ask that you guys go check them out just in case we disappear and we cannot upload on this main channel anymore. That if something does happen, you guys will still be able to find us. We will still go live somewhere. So we'll be there. We have a Telegram group. If you guys want to join our Telegram group, you can. The links are already in the description. Just click away, join the Telegram group, say hi, and we'll respond as soon as possible. If you guys have questions and you guys want your comments answered, just drop it down below. Or prayer requests, just drop them down below, and we will respond to them as soon as we see them. Alright, starting that, we are in Proverbs 27. Which is kind of crazy to think about that we are in Proverbs 27 because it's almost over. We only have, what, 5 more left?
4. After we do this one.
After we do this one, there's
5 counting this.
4 left, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Hey, Sarah, thank you for joining us. How are you doing? The Grand Shalom, thank you for joining us, Grandma.
Alright, Proverbs 27, verse 1. And by the way, on the top left is the NIV, the top right is the KJV, and the bottom is the Sefer. Proverbs 27, verse 1. Boast not of yourself tomorrow, for you know not what a day may bring forth.
So, he's saying, Solomon starts off and he says, don't say how great you are one day, because the next day you may end up in the ditch. You may be great one day, you may have all the riches, you may live in the castle, but you may end up in the gutter the next day. You don't know what is going to happen on the next day, and you're not supposed to boast of it. It's the same way when Yahushua said, don't worry about tomorrow, because every day has its own problems. You cannot sit there and worry about the next day, or you cannot boast about the next day thinking how great you are going to be. You must give praise to Yah in all things. You must be humble in all things, or you will be cut down. Yahuwah will strike the prideful down.
Verse 2. Let another man praise you, and not your own mouth, a stranger, and not your own lips.
So he basically says that you need to take praise from others, not yourself, because this chapter is about being humble and having humility, and about being not, I think you're better than people. So he's basically saying, do not say how great you are, do not think about how great you are. Let others say it, because you're always going to think you're better in your mind than you truly are. But you need to hear from other people. You don't need to say it yourself. You need to have other people tell you it. Because if you just think it yourself, you're not going to be humble. You're going to be prideful in what you're doing. You should have pride in what you're doing, but not to a pride where you think you're better than someone, or you think you're the greatest or something. That's not what it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be humble people. People that are following Torah are supposed to be humble. They're supposed to be able to be loving people, and people that people can talk to and learn from. Verse
3. A stone is heavy, and the sand weighty, but a fool's wrath is heavier than both.
If you are a foolish person, a person of the Torah, their wrath is going to drag everyone down. It drags down everything. A stone is heavy. It's a heavy thing. Like a single rock can drag something down, can pull something light down. And the souls of humans are light, and it can pull us down. We will pull our hearts down. It will pull our souls down when wrath comes by. Even the wrath of people that aren't fools, people that aren't outside of the Torah, people that are inside the Torah.
Verse 4. Wrath is outrageous, but who is able to stand before envy?
So it says, wrath is cruel and displeasure is overwhelming, but jealousy is more powerful than them. Why is that? That is because jealousy will get you to, it will be the root of this. It will cause you to do these things. If you envy over something, if you're jealous over something, that is where it all begins. You're not going to be able to stand it. You may be able to pass over the anger and the displeasure and all the angry emotions you have, but envy, jealousy, those things stay on. Those things live in your head, and you have to get rid of those. You have to get rid of the spirit of jealousy.
Right? Because it's a command not to envy, not to covet, not to want something that other people want. Because when you start coveting, you start committing sin. When you want something that someone has, then you start making that sin happen. You start making evil things. You start conspiring against them. You want that. And it's just an evil thing to do, to have envy, to covet, to lust after something that is not your own.
Verse 5. Open rebuke is better than secret love.
So that's pretty self-explanatory. That it's better to be rebuked and openly than be someone says they love you and they don't help you out. Because if you're not being rebuked, you're not being sharpened. You're not being taught better.
Verse 6. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful.
People say to you, your true friends, when they tell you that you're being mean or that something
correct you, or they let you know that they rebuke you, they let you know that you've fallen off the path. Those are your friends. When people tell you the truth and how they see it, how they see your life has become, those are your friends. But people that are telling you that everything's great, everything is hunky-dory and it's all wonderful, those are your enemies. They are not there for your good. Your enemies will try and get you to a spot where you are vulnerable, to where you are off the path, and to where Satan can suck you up, to where Satan can take your soul off the path.
Verse 7. The full soul loathes the honeycomb, but to the hungry soul every bitter thing is sweet.
And he's saying that those who are hungry are going to find anything, that even the most bitter food is going to be sweet. If you're hungry enough, you're going to like any food, no matter the taste of it. But if you are full, you're going to despise the food. And that's where we should be helping people, because with the food we have, it doesn't have to be a great food. It can be canned food. We should be going out and we should be helping the people that are hungry, so that they can eat, because they're willing to take even the bitter food. They're willing to take even the food that tastes terrible.
Verse 8. As a bird that wanders from her nest, so is a man that wanders from his place.
So it basically says, everybody, we all grow up and we all start our own nest. We all start our own little bird family. We all become a different people. We all leave our house. At some point, we fly away. And that's what he's saying. He says we all grow up and we all become our own people. We leave the nest and we're supposed to grow up and become full-grown birds. We're supposed to be the people that start families and have other children.
Verse 9. Ointment and perfume rejoice the heart, so is the sweetness of man's friend by hearty counsel.
So Solomon, what we have to understand here is why we'd have ointment and perfume. Because Solomon was a rich person. He had very luxurious things like perfumes and ointments and things like that. Things that were nice smelling, things that were nice, that were good for your skin. And he says that thing that is equal to this is a good friend, a friend that is good.
Verse 10. Your own friend and your father's friend forsake not, neither go into your brother's house in the day of calamity. For better is a neighbor that is near than a brother than a brother far off. The NIV says, do not forsake your friend or a friend of your family. Do not go to your relative's house when disaster strikes. Better a neighbor nearby than a relative far away.
So he's saying don't forsake your friends. The people that are truly your friends, you need to keep them by. You need to keep them close, because those as well are your family. And the people there around you, if your family's not close by, then the people around you are going to be the people that take care of you in the day of your need. It's easier to go to a friend, a true friend, in your day of your distress than it is to find a brother that is hundreds of miles away.
Right, and you want to find these friends that are people in Torah that follow the same things you do, that aren't straying away from the path or make you stray from the path. Because you don't want to be too close to friends with people that aren't keeping Torah, because what they do will rub off on you and you will become like them. So you want to find friends that are close that are in Torah.
Verse 11. My son, be wise and make my heart glad, that I may answer him that reproaches me.
He says he's saying to his sons, and we can all be the children. We want to make our parents proud. Our parents all need to be proud. So he says, follow the Torah. Do what he says and let him be proud, so that when someone comes to reproach him, when someone comes up to him and says, hey, what's up with your kid? You can say, I know he's a good kid. I know he's a good person in the Torah. Or she's a good person in the Torah.
Verse 12. A prudent man perceives the evil and hides himself, but the simple pass on and are punished.
So this can be taken into today's examples, that we see evil coming. We see where food is going to disappear, and you can hide yourself by storing up food. You can store up food for yourself so that you are not a fool and you are not in the way of death. You are not in the way of destruction. We have to see the things before us. We have to keep watch, as Yahushua said. Keep watch, because you never know when he's coming back, but keep watch so that you can clear yourself out of the path of evil. It's the same thing that Joseph did. He saw evil was coming, and he prepared himself to get off the path of death.
He prepared the whole nation, the whole country of Egypt. They were prepared. They had food. They were ready for when the famine took place, and they saw what was coming. But if you're foolish, you'll stay in the way, and you will think, I don't need food. You know what? I don't need food. This isn't happening, and you end up being hungry. You'll end up going starving to death because you have no food. Brother Glenn, thank you for joining us. Shalom to you as well.
Verse 13. Take his garment that is surety for a stranger, and take pledge of him for a strange one. The NIV says, take the garment of one who puts up security for a stranger, hold it in pledge if it is done for an outsider.
So this is where we are told we are allowed to take interest in things like that. It says, if you have someone that is making a pledge to someone, and you take their garment, and it's a stranger, you can take their garment.
Verse 14. He that blesses his friend with a loud voice, rising early in the morning, it shall be counted a curse to him.
If you are going loudly to your friend in the morning, people, not everyone's a morning person. Solomon obviously is just, he's giving advice here on how to not make enemies, how to not be hated around your people. And he's saying that if you're going around to your friend saying, hey, good morning, neighbor, it's super early in the morning, when he's still getting up and you're just being extremely loud to him in the morning, he says, you're going to be hated. No one's going to like that. No one's going to be like a super loud neighbor early in the morning.
Verse 14, or verse 15, I mean. A continual dropping in a very rainy day, and a contentious woman are alike.
So Solomon obviously has issues here with women. He had a lot of women, but this goes for man, woman, brothers, family, sisters, anybody inside a family. If you're quarreling or fighting or anything like that, you will know that it's like continual dropping. If anyone's had a leaky roof or if you've had, the drips are just really annoying. You get a little jar and stick it under there while it's raining so that your house doesn't get all wet. But it's like really annoying drippings, and that's exactly what it is here. And so you don't want fighting, because the continued fightings and the arguings of families, they're just really annoying. It makes the household uncomfortable. It makes everyone at odds. Makes everyone very angry. So you don't want to do that. You want to have a happy family. You want to have a happy home that's not quarreling and arguing. Because if you're quarreling and arguing, then your house will be on edge and it'll be very unstable.
Verse 16. Whoever hides her hides the wind in the ointment of his right hand, which bewrays itself. The NIV says, restraining her is like restraining the wind, or grasping oil with the hand.
So this is where we understand that Solomon had 700 wives. He made this mistake here to bring this upon himself, to bring this problems upon himself. But an example we can take out of this, is that if you are trying to restrain someone full of anger, it's not going to work well. The person's anger is going to continue to burn. It's like trying to stop water with your hands or trying to stop the wind and catch it in your hands. It doesn't work.
Verse 17. Iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend.
Iron sharpens iron. And how does iron sharpen iron? Because two materials made of the same thing will sharpen each other. They will make each other better. So if you have a friend that is in Torah and you are in Torah, or a family member in Torah, or whoever you are with in Torah, your reading, your studying, your guys' ideas going back and forth over the Torah is going to sharpen each other. It's going to bring you stronger in the Word. That's why you're not supposed to move with the Gentiles, because you are going to become dull if you are with a Gentile, a heathen. If you're trying to become a Gentile, you're going to become dull in the Word. You're going to become dull in the Torah, because you are not learning. You are not equally yoked with another Torah believer.
Verse 18. Whoso keeps the fig tree shall eat the fruit thereof, so he that waits on his master shall be honored.
So same thing here, both in the thing. It's if you are a good worker, right, and you store up a fruit tree, you're gonna have fruit later to eat. Same thing for you. You're a boss. You're the person who employs you, the person you're working for. If you store up and you work for them hard and you're doing things, when he comes back to see your job and you do good work, he'll bless you just like the fruit should bless you and gives you the food. He'll be giving you your paycheck. He'll be giving you your promotion. That Yahuwah will bless you if you're doing His work. When Yehoshua comes back and sees that you did a lot of good work and you were good worker for his household and you brought souls to him, he'd be like, you, my good servant, here is your blessing, and you're going to be blessed more abundantly than other people because of the work you did. So that's something we try to do, is try to win souls. Like we learned a few chapters back, it says to win souls. We want to win souls.
Verse 19. As in water face answers to face, so the heart of man to man. The NIV says, as water reflects the face, so one's life reflects the heart.
If this is what Yehoshua said, this is where he repeated this, almost the exact same thing to the Pharisees, where he says, what comes out of you is what makes you unclean. He's saying, from your innermost parts, from your heart, it shows the darkness. And when you speak evil, or when your actions show evil, it will either show evil or good. Are you of Yahuwah, or are you of Hasatan? And this is where it shows. You can show your actions, you can show your faith, you can show your evil, all through your action and through your words, because it comes from your heart. What you say comes from your heart. There is no other excuse for what you can say, whether you slipped up or not. You're either dark in your heart, or you are of Yahuwah, or you are of a child of the light.
Right, it's not what you eat it's not what goes in you that defiles you, it's what comes out of your heart. And we're not talking about food, we're talking about their hearts, the evil people, how they were cursing their parents. And so if your heart is evil, you are going to be evil. You're going to say evil things, and you are going to be, your life will show that you are an evil person. Everyone will be able to see that you are an evil person. And if you are following the Torah and your heart is evil towards people and you hate people, then it'll show. And those people will know, hey, this dude follows Torah, but he doesn't love his neighbor. He doesn't follow the commands. He only does it for himself or whatever reason. But he doesn't do it for Yahuwah because he's not doing what Yahuwah commanded him to do.
Verse 20. Sheol and Abaddon are never full, so the eyes of man are never satisfied. The NIV says, death and destruction are never satisfied, and neither are human eyes.
So death and destruction are neither satisfied. The destruction is never satisfied. It's always looking for more. Hasatan can be considered death and destruction. He is always looking for evil. He is always looking for someone's soul, to eat someone's soul up, to quench it, to take it away from Yahuwah. Every time someone walks off the path, he wins another soul. He is laughing at the turning away of Yahuwah's children. And he is upset. He is angry when someone turns Yahuwah. And this is how we can get back at Hasatan for all the evil he's done. For all the evil he inflicts on the believers is to win souls. That is the best way for revenge on Hasatan, is to tell the word. That is what we can do. That's how we can fight back. That's why the Bible is our sword. That's why the word is our light and our shield, because it is our weapons of war in this spiritual battle.
And that's what he's saying, said the man's eyes are never satisfied. They always want something more. Everybody always looking for that next thing, the next thing that they're going to be happy with, the next whatever it is. And so we should be satisfied. We should be satisfied. We have the Torah, we have life, we have something that no one else have. So we should be satisfied. We shouldn't be wandering for the next thing, because we know what we need to follow. We know what we need to do. And we have the Torah, so we are satisfied in the Torah.
Verse 21, as the finding pot for silver and the furnace for gold, so is a man to his praise. The NIV says, the crucible for silver and the furnace for gold, but people are tested by their praise.
When people get praised, it becomes a testing thing for them, because they have to understand that when they get praised, they can't get a big head about it. They can't become prideful about it. They have to be very humble about it, the pride they get. They have to be a humble person. If they let their ego get to them, they are going to fall off the path, because they think they are better than what they believe. That's why you have the refining pot, because it is a test. It's a moment of testing. Is this metal strong enough to withstand the heat, or is it going to break? Is it going to crack? Is it going to become nothing when it is poured?
Verse 22, though you should bray a fool in a mortar among wheat with pestle, yet will not his foolishness depart from him. The NIV says, though you will grind a fool in a mortar, grinding them like grain with a pestle, you will not remove their folly from them.
So a fool, this is where we can look at the Christians. We can repeat the same things over and over and over to them, and they will continue back with the same thing. I'm freed from the law. I don't need the law. And unfortunately, Christianity is a group of fools. It is a foolish thing. Because when you take the laws of Yahuwah and you throw them on the cross and you say that we don't need them anymore, we can live as we want, you're following what a Satanist coined the phrase. He said, do what you want, do as thou wilt. He is known as the father of the Satanists. That was what he said. He said, do as you want. That is what you should do. And that is what the Christians repeat. They say, I do as I want because Jesus died on the cross for me, so I can live like I want.
Verse 23, be diligent to know the state of your flocks, and look well to your herds. For riches are not forever, and does the crown endure to every generation?
So here he says, he goes, know your herd. We should take care of animals. We need to know where our cows are. Every single day we put our cows over to graze in a bigger side of our field. And then we go and find them every single day so they don't get stolen. Or make sure they're not hurt. Make sure they're not sick. And we bring them back in the same time every single day except for Shabbats. And we can take them over and you let them eat because they need food. And they also need to be taken care of every single day.
And this is a great encouragement for those that, for those that are looking for animals that can have animals. Get a goat, get a cow, get something. He says riches aren't going to be forever, but the animals will be there. The animals will still be there, right? Because they're going to eat off the grass. One day, the money will have no value in this world, but what will have value is the food, your consumption of food you can eat.
Verse 25, the hay appears, and the tender grass shows itself, and herbs of the mountains are gathered. The lambs are for your clothing, and the goats are the price of the field. And you shall have goat's milk enough for your food, for the food of your household, and for the maintenance for your maidens.
So, this is where we get into the importance of why it's good to have an animal. As he says goats here, he says, and sheep, because you can take their wool and make clothes with them. You can take their milk and make food with it. You can take their meat and make more food and everything like that. And this is why it's important that you should get animals, or if you can't, you should be storing up. Solomon is trying to get us to prepare for a time that is now, a time that is this generation, when we won't have food, when we don't have food, we should be storing up. And where people say that we don't want to be selfish, we don't want to take all the food, we don't have faith or something like that, That is foolishness speaking, because the people of the Bible were literally told to fill their food tanks, to fill their storage, to fill a storage that their food's going to disappear. And this is where you have to be wise. You have to have the eyes to see that the world is going to come to an end and Yahushua is going to return. But until then, you need to get off the path of evil. You need to get off the path of death if you want to survive through this, what is coming.
Alright, so that was the very last verse of Proverbs 27 verses chapter 27. Pretty cool. But that is the end for today. If you guys have any prayers, questions, or comments, just leave them down in the description below. If you guys need us to pray for you, if you'd be specific for a certain reason, we would love to do that, so we can pray for you. If you don't want to tell what the reason is, just ask us to pray for you, we will pray for you, because the Father knows what you need. And so just if you guys need prayers or anything, just let us know in the comments below, and we will do what we can to help you. And I hope you guys all have a blessed day. Don't forget, we do have a Telegram group if you guys want to join that, so we can all talk. And granted, what's next after Proverbs? It'll be hard to beat. I am enjoying the study. I want to do James. Eli wants to do Ecclesiastes, but I think we want to move away from Solomon. I know James is a really good book, because James does talk a lot about, loving your neighbor, being calm with people. It's one of my favorite books. So I don't know. We haven't quite decided yet. We might have to do a little poll here on YouTube, and everyone can vote. We'll choose a few books, and then everyone can vote to see what they want to do, and then we'll go over that. But for today, we are out of here, and I hope you all have a blessed day. And thank you all for joining us. Glenn, Sarah, anyone else, the Grand who didn't say anything. All right, have a blessed day. Shalom.
All right, shalom.